Hi guys, Sajid Amit here, and welcome to my review of the Tanjchim Effect Audio Force. So this is going to review of its sound impressions and of course unboxing accessories etc. I don't have the box per se, but of course I can show you the accessories. And it's a pretty nifty package, guys, and it's got these interesting tips which are bass enhancing and also these treble enhancing tips, which is a first as far as I'm concerned. I mean, not to say tips don't enhance sound or certain frequencies, they do, but this is the first time I've seen them being labeled as such. But anyway, to jump right in, guys. So this is a collaboration IM that claims to combine Tanjchim's tuning philosophy with Effect Audio's cable expertise. So in terms of the unboxing inside the box, you of course get the Force IMs, which are interesting as you can see because these are vented, and they look pretty nice. You get a detachable cable from Effect Audio with multiple terminations. The terminations are evident here because you get a USB-C DSP plug, which you can see over here. A 4.4, of course, which it comes plugged in with, and you also get a 3.5. And a set of ear tips, wide and narrow bore essentially. And wide bore tips generally give you better treble extension, and narrow bore tips give you generally better bass. And of course, there's also a carry case, a manual, and all that, right? So my first impression is the packaging is pretty solid. No complaints whatsoever. It's reasonably premium as well. I don't really care about packaging, but some people do, so that's what it is. And so I think the only gripe I have is that although this cable is branded by Effect Audio and is perhaps made by Effect Audio, and I have no reason to think it's not a very good cable in terms of its quality. And I've seen better quality cables from manufacturers at this price point, or similar price points, or even lower price points. So one cable that comes to mind that I find particularly ergonomic is the Soft Ear Volume S, which is one of my favorite IMs, and I have two of the Soft Ear Volume S IMs. This cable it has a bit of memory. It's just I mean, I don't know why you would go all out and brand your collaboration with the premium cable manufacturer if this is what you're able to produce. So in general, I know Effect Audio well. I've been to their studio in Singapore. They do have very nice cables, stupidly overpriced, of course, but they're very nice cables. And their logic, of course, is that in order for them to make the cables that they do, the science is that much more rigorous and demanding. So to be able to make really high-end cables requires a kind of expertise and dedication and that scientific know-how that comes at a premium. And of course, you have the ergonomics and the aesthetics, and they do a bit of the history behind the cables and the folklore, which is of course just marketing. So that's basically how Effect Audio justifies a price of like $2,000 to $5,000 cables. And of course, that's subjective. Whether you want to buy into it is your call. But I really expected better from this cable. So in case people are watching, I mean, you guys can certainly do better than what you come out with here. This is just not a very impressive cable. Okay, so now in terms of the other stuff, the build quality is pretty good. The shells are resin and pretty transparent, so you can see the internals. Of course, the face plates are aluminum alloy. So it has a semi-open design, a vented design. It's not fully closed, aid airflow and reduced pressure buildup, right? And in terms of build quality, it feels pretty sturdy. The connectors snap in firmly. So all that's pretty great. Comfort's quite good, guys. The nozzles are a bit longer. Is that something worth keeping in mind? So the smaller tips can seal well. Isolation is average, given the semi-open nature. So you will not block all environmental sound, but for typical listening in quiet room, this is acceptable. So that's what it is, guys. And the tips, finally, as you can see, that these are called the treble enhancing tips, and they do enhance the treble for sure, no questions about it. And these are the bass enhancing tips. So if you want a tip roll in a jiffy, this is pretty convenient. Now, in terms of the sound profile, guys, the bass, starting with the bass, the force can reach deep when needed. The sub bass is authority, but it's not overdone. And the mid bass is closer to neutral, I think. There is punch, but it doesn't really bleed into the mids. I would say the DK is clean and controlled. Low notes do not linger naturally. Um, I do want to say that in single-ended mode, the bass can feel a bit restrained or distant, but switching to balance improves body and depth. Mid-range is one of the strengths. I think the mids are natural and well balanced, neither too recessed nor too forward. The vocals are clean and clear, have good presence. Instruments like guitars and strings are have a lot of clarity and they don't get masked. Now to talk about the treble, guys, I think the treble is pretty decent. I don't think it's fatiguing. I think it's on the smoother side. It doesn't shout for attention, which is how I think most of you like your treble. The cymbal decay, the high sense, and upper detail are very well managed. And that said, I do think that some of the micro details at the very last layer of air might not be as vivid as reference grade stuff. So I would even say that I mean for the price, I think the treble is decent, but it's not going to win any awards for treble. Now the soundstage is impressive. The open design that definitely allows the force to breathe. The soundstage is spacious with very good depth and width, and I think instrument separation is pretty solid. I would say that complex passages do not feel congested. Imaging is pretty precise. You can place instruments pretty convincingly on the stage. And then finally, for dynamics and detail retrieval, I would say the force is competent, it's competitive, but it doesn't, of course, compete with more expensive tier hybrid ESD planar designs in micro detail retrieval. So it's a good IM for the price. Guys, in terms of the standout features, I do think the USB-C DSP plug and the companion app is a standout feature. You can load EQ curves, DSP presets. With the DSPs turned on, you can of course further tune the force to taste. That is basically where this, I think, wins awards, or should win an award, because the DSP plug is a fantastic addition. Yes, of course you lose that when you use a 3.5 or 4.4 mode. But you can tune it to your heart's content and add extra bass or brighten the treble, etc. So overall, guys, the pros are that it does have a balanced, mature sound, USB-C DSP flexibility, solid mid-range performance, soundstage separation, premium build, all that's very impressive. Bass in single-ended mode is a bit limited. I mean, it's not for hardcore, detail retrieval seeker, so to speak. Cable is a bit stiff and tangly for the price, and isolation is average. So this is not, the final conclusion is that it's not a flashy in-your-face IM, it's a more refined, balanced, and flexible performer with great DSP and great accessorization. If you like heavier bass or hyper detail at all costs, there are of course alternatives. Even the Volume S from Soft Ears is a better alternative. But if you want critical listening, then of course it's not what you get. However, if you want something that you can, tweak to your heart's content, if you want this semi-open design because it does aid in soundstage, because if IMs feel claustrophobic and very narrow for you, then I think this is a very good buy. But as always, try before you buy. So that's it for me, Sajid Amit signing out, and stay tuned for the next one. Bye-bye.